You have sunk below the deepest layer of prehistoric frog shit at the bottom of a New Jersey scum swamp. This is Rebooting and the Beast, a podcast in two parts. I'm N. Burke.
And I'm Matt Molinaro. And in the first episode, we review an original piece of media. Here we are. And in the subsequent episodes, we'll discuss the reboots.
That's right. And today we're doing a original piece of media. Well, sort of, because I think it's based on a Shakespearean play, actually.
Okay. Well, first video.
Yeah.
Recorded.
So we're doing The War of the Roses from 1989.
Exciting.
Yes. Okay, I just had to look up if it is based on a... Oh, there's a novel.
Based on something written. I know that.
Yeah. There's a novel.
Okay.
And of course it's based on like history of warring houses, but anyway. So 1989, starring Kathleen Turner and Michael Douglas and Danny DeVito.
I knew you were going to choose that quote.
Of course. How could I not?
As soon as I heard it. For those of you who don't know, I am from New Jersey and currently live there, so I knew, and does not. So I knew that was coming as soon as I heard it.
Of course. I just liked the deepest layer of prehistoric frog shit at the bottom of it. Especially liked scum swamp.
Yes.
Because swamps aren't gross enough, but a scum swamp.
I liked it all. There are a lot of good lines in this one.
Yeah, so this is your first time seeing it, right?
Definitely.
I've probably seen it, this might be like my third time seeing it. I remember seeing it as a child, and I think because it came out in 89, so I probably saw it when I was 8 or 9.
Mm-hmm.
And I probably have seen it once since then, but it's been definitely at least 15 or maybe 20 years.
I've definitely heard it referenced before. I didn't know what it was about, but I've heard of the War of the Roses before. I've heard of the War of the Roses before in a media context as a movie.
Okay. Yeah.
I knew there was a movie that was a classic. This is one of those movies that I think is usually on those top 100 movie lists type things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think so.
So I feel like that's the real context I have for it, other than you recommending it. So I was excited, and I loved the cast.
Well, listen, I'm honestly, people are going to be mad when I say this. I'm not the biggest Michael Douglas fan, and I'm not the biggest Danny DeVito fan, but I love Kathleen Turner.
Oh, I love Kathleen Turner. I love Danny DeVito. Danny DeVito. The only thing that's sad about Danny DeVito is that he and Rhea Perlman aren't together anymore. That's it.
Wait, are they not?
I don't think so. I think they divorced years ago.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I'm pretty sure. I should probably look that up. LOL. Let me see. Michael Douglas. I like Michael Douglas. I'm trying to think of what else I've seen him in. He's in Scent of a Woman, right?
That's
oh gosh, what's his name?
Mel Gibson.
No, I mean yes, but not who maybe that's not who I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of is it Al Pacino? Gosh, I'm just gonna stop. I'm thinking of the bad guy in Scent of a Woman, but I don't think that's Michael Douglas. I'm looking him up right now just to see some movies. Okay, I've seen Basic Instinct.
Basic Instinct, yeah.
Falling Down.
The game we've talked about, right?
I haven't. Well, I'm not familiar with it.
Oh my God, Matt. Okay, we have to watch The Game for a Patreon episode because I think it's one of the best movies of all time.
Okay, I'm down. I've heard of The Game. But I've never seen it for sure. Have you seen Falling Down?
No.
Oh, that's a classic. I don't know if you're into that type of movie, but it's just sort of about he's great in that. He's a guy who's just sort of lost his sense of completely jaded by the world. He's just broken and just goes on a spree. It's wild.
Interesting.
And I'm looking him up. He's from New Brunswick, New Jersey. Hey.
Oh, well, there you go.
That's where I went to college for a minute.
Oh, man.
Okay. I'm a fan of him. Oh, he's married to Catherine Zeta-Jones, of course.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, no, I mean, I don't have a problem with him, but I don't think I would say, I'm a fan of him, you know?
Yeah, I think, you know what, part of it is I'm not a huge fan. I don't mind him, but I feel like I remember something about him being, a sexual harasser or something that.
No.
So I just... I have, and I don't know any of it for fact. I'm not alleging anything, but I feel like I heard something once upon a time that kind of like tainted my view of him as a
Mhm.
person. But I also feel like the wig that they put him in during the early scenes of this movie was incredibly disgusting.
I am obsessed with the hair in this movie. So let's let's see. Do we have Okay, I have the summary from IMDb
Okay,
if you're ready for it.
I am.
So you'd seen this movie a couple times before. And did you say when was the last time you've seen this?
I don't remember, but it probably was before I turned 18.
Okay. So definitely a rewatch for you in the truest
Yes.
sense of the word.
For sure.
Okay, I was very excited to watch this movie. Looking up the little summary from 1989, it says a married couple tries everything to drive each other out of the house in a vicious divorce battle.
I would say that's accurate for the last half of the film.
Yeah, I'd say it's the kind of gets right into it. I mean, I watched the trailer for it as well, so I mean, there's no big surprise. I was surprised that Danny DeVito, what did he produce it or directed this as well?
Directed it, yeah.
Okay, so here's the funny moment. When it showed him at the beginning as like being the director, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, "Oh," to Davey. "Oh, who knew he directed movies?" And then I looked it up, and apparently a lot of people knew because he's directed like a ton of movies and most of the ones
Yeah.
he's been in. I was like, "Oh, okay, I'm who knew. That's who didn't know."
Yeah.
Everyone else is who knew. So there was that. And then I didn't even know he was in this movie to begin with, by the way, until it started. But I was very excited to see that he also directed Matilda. Have you seen Matilda?
I haven't, I don't know, I never saw it.
Sorry, I just that might be one we have to do at some point, but we'll give you some time because the only reboot I know of it, and hold on to yourself, is a musical. So
Oh, God.
we'll give it some time, but I've heard it is an excellent musical from someone who does not like musicals and movies. So we'll save it for a little while past Wicked. But I love
all right.
Matilda, and I just wanted to be Matilda growing up. So I just started to go on a deep dive, and I was like, wait, I have to get back to the movie.
I love the book Matilda.
Oh, then you'll love the movie. You'll love the original movie. It's a classic, and it is hilarious.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so when we started this, I was instantly thinking, now I know why they don't do long openings in movies anymore.
Yes. Oh my God, I know. I was like, Matt, this is so funny. So the title sequence started and it was very slow and I literally was like, okay. And I watched a lot of it and then I was like, this is too long. I'm going to skip ahead. And then I immediately skipped too far. And then I went back to where I was. And if I had waited 0.5 milliseconds, the movie was about to start.
Always. When you go from watching a panning across what you think is sheets for 15 minutes.
Yes.
I was like, okay, Bed Bath & Beyond. I'm moving right along.
So, I would say this movie kind of is, well, okay, before we get there, title cards. I had no idea Sean Astin was in this movie.
Oh, me neither. But he's pretty young, right? And it's...
Yeah, he's 18 or something. Yeah. Number two, this whole movie is kind of framed around cuts between present day and a retelling of the past, all through Danny DeVito telling somebody else about Oliver and Barbara Rose, who are Kathleen Turner and Michael Douglas, and kind of what he learned as their sort of associate and at one point divorce lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of get a little bit of and then what happened? And we cut to the actual thing sort of vibe.
Yes, it's very narrator. What's that Christmas movie? Christmas Story?
Christmas Story? God, that's another one I haven't seen in a long time.
Oh, I love that one, but that's not even what I was thinking of. But that's also pretty accurate but that's more voice narrated. I was thinking of that Christmas movie where the guy's visited by the Christmas Carol. It's got that kind of vibe where we keep checking in with a current
present
moment.
day. Yeah. Okay. Well, so I'm just going to say it at the outset. I think this movie, I remember really liking it. I still think it's great. I still think people should watch it, but I think it's too slow for contemporary audiences.
Okay.
I think the first 45 minutes could have been condensed down to 20.
Oh, okay. I could see that. I
Because I mean, we spend a lot of time building their relationship when the crux of the story is about the falling apart of their relationship.
hmm
And I see how that makes it like more poignant to an extent, but I think that in the 80s, the late 80s, I think divorce was much more charged than it is today. Like,
yes.
the dissolution of a family, blah, 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 was like a really big deal in the mid to late 80s. I mean, the 80s generally. And so today, I feel like because like the action really starts when they start to like be acrimonious towards each other. And so I don't necessarily, to understand that, I don't really need to see the building of their relationship. I think that Danny DeVito's narrative storytelling could have summarized that much more quickly.
I could see that. I do think this movie could have been a tad shorter. This was like what, almost 2 hours?
It was 2 hours, and apparently there was a whole nother hour originally.
Oh, I did read that. I did read that it had to be cut down. Okay, so
Yes.
I think it could have been cut down, but I think I disagree with the amount of time. I think maybe like 10 minutes or so could have been cut off, maybe.
Okay.
I really liked, I think from a like plot point sort of perspective and like the action, where's the head, where does it come to like a, you know, storyline head, and where's the, you know, whatever, that sort of story arc. What am I looking for? What's the word I'm looking for? The conflict, the resolution, all that kind of stuff. I think for all of that, it could have been cut down, the first part. However, I do think looking at this as sort of what I would consider to have a very strong feminist undertone to it.
Yeah, I would say so for sure.
I think it's so important to see what the relationship looked like even when it was good and from the very beginning, and all the like, I think there was a lot of nuance in both of their acting throughout, like even the positive parts of their relationship, because I think it really showed like how she has always been and like what really happened and who really is responsible for what at the end, you know, if you look at it,
I agree,
close enough. But I think if you don't look at it close enough, you don't have to even care about that kind of stuff. But I think it gives you the opportunity to look at the first part of the movie and be like, wow, when was it good?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
definitely. Yeah.
Because it could look really just very, okay, it was good there, and there's moments, but you really see, especially with Kathleen Turner, you just see these small ways over time, which we'll talk about, but how it never really was fulfilling, and how they really were, as Danny DeVito says in his storytelling, kind of doomed from the start.
For sure. Yeah, so they sort of first meet in Nantucket at this like charity auction, not charity auction, but what do you call that?
Like an
I guess
antique-
just an antique auction.
Auction of some type, yeah.
Yeah,
Estate
and
sale.
She outbids him on this statue, which, by the way, in the photo was described as a Chinese homunculus, and then when the auctioneer is describing it, it's described as a Japanese carving of a Shinto goddess. So I was like, continuity editor, what's going on here? Anyway,
Yeah, get it together.
and it's from the 18th century, and the bidding starts at $10. I was like, what? Mind-boggling. You can't even get a sandwich for that these days. So she eventually wins, and he like follows her after her and tries to like buy it off of her for $250. By the way, it's pouring rain, and they have Kathleen Turner in a like wet t-shirt contest for the first 10 minutes of the movie.
Yes. She kind of flurried in and flurried out of nowhere.
Yes. And she's like, I love the rain. And he goes, I love it too, as he's staring directly at her chest.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So, yeah.
Exactly.
She's a gymnast. He's a law student. They are like about to say goodbye, but then they kiss, and it kind of like cuts to them having sex in maybe like his apartment at Harvard or whatever.
Yeah, it kind of looks like that. Except for, can we talk about this? The sheets they are in?
Oh, I didn't even notice.
Oh my god, it is I think they're green, and they're probably expensive and silky, but they look like the most uncomfortable. They look like what you put on the ground when you're doing like a photo shoot for Dove chocolate. Like the background, oh, it's so bad, it's so tacky. I was like, oh
That's
god,
so
this was
funny.
probably like so romantic and sexy back then, but ugh, I'm just thinking the sweat in those sheets.
Oof.
Nightmare. I like the
So
gymnast work that they do with her when she says she's a gymnast, and they obviously have like a body double come in and do these like handstands and things in her wig.
yes.
I loved all those moments. I thought they were really well done, even though it was obviously not her.
Yeah. Also, Kathleen Turner's hair in this movie is frequently spectacular.
Beyond, I am obsessed with her hair in this movie. From the ponytails to the like businesswoman cut, that hair was everything. I was obsessed with Michael Douglas's hair too, even the bad like mullet wig thing.
Oh God, that
When they show
early
him from their
college
youth.
wig. Yeah.
But I loved
Okay.
it, and but what I didn't love is her saying in their sex scene, "Return of the Bald Avenger," referring to his unit.
Yeah, I didn't love that.
But I was like, okay, I'm sure he really likes that kind of thing, which he
Yeah.
he does.
He does. Yeah. Also, apparently we learn they've been having lots of sex, and he's like, never apologize for being multi-orgasmic. And then she says, if we end up together, this is the most romantic day of my whole life. And if we don't, I'm a complete slut. Wow.
I thought that might be an opening.
Okay, so then we cut to them married with kids at Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And
they're wild.
and this is kind
the
of
kids are wild.
yes. I mean, they're toddlers, but yeah.
Yes,
So
they're just overwhelming him.
yes, yeah, because he's like trying to do law stuff, and she, it seems like, has kind of given up her plans of being a gymnast and has sort of just settled into life as a mother.
Mm-hmm.
Although it seems like, is also working as a waitress sometimes.
Yeah, it looks like she's really
And
bringing home a lot of the money while he's studying law.
yeah, and it sounds like, and this is kind of where we get the first glimpse of their relationship, like not being perfect, because she like gives the kids candy, and he's like, they're gonna be fat. We could talk about all of that ad nauseum, but she's like, no, actually, blah blah blah. So it's just, and then she brings home a tree topper for the tree that he doesn't like, and she's like, you're right, we'll do something else. And so you just kind of see, like, I think pretty early on in the relationship, you see her making concessions of who she is and what she wants for him.
Yes, because from the beginning you could see he wanted her because she beat him.
Yes.
He wanted her because she won, so he suddenly was interested in her and needed to have her for his own because she got something that he wanted. And so he couldn't have that. And now she is supporting him while he is going through school, and she is like bringing home the bacon, obviously, at this point. She is the person who is making the correct decisions with the kids.
Yeah.
And she is the one who is not only doing all of this, but then like brings home this cute little thing for the tree to try to make this moment, and he resents her.
Yes.
The whole time while she is supporting him. And then you see in these moments, like these are the moments when I'm talking about when you see her slowly start to like accept his resentments as truth and reality.
Yes.
And shrink from the vibrant, strong, powerful presence she had from the very beginning when she came in and won that statue.
For sure.
And then shortly thereafter, like as he's being a D-bag about the tinfoil-y type of star that she bought, she takes him outside and shows that she bought him a brand new car.
Well, not technically brand new, but
a new car.
It's a vintage car that he's always wanted. And so yeah, it's kind of the first half of the movie is to me very heartbreaking. Mm-hmm. Like you watch her make herself small for him.
Yes.
And I hate that.
And it felt very real though. Like the way they did it wasn't like over the top. You know what I mean? A lot of things like this, he would have been like, get this star out of here, and why didn't you do this and that? And she would have, had and this is just for what I usually see in movies, not to say that this doesn't happen, but it would have been a very large, over-the-top reaction to really nail the point home to the audience,
Yeah.
Whereas this was just like these things that if you're not really watching, a lot of people would probably watch this scene and be like, yeah, look, he's stressed out.
Yeah.
And she's, giving the kids sweets and not listening to him and da-da-da-da-da. And look how happy he is when he gets the Morgan and all this stuff. But if you really watch it, like how we were just talking about it, like you see what is really happening. And that I think is just indicative of what happens a lot in a lot of households. That
totally.
you don't even see it. It's just the air you breathe.
Yeah.
And also, when she bought him the car and he was like, "You bought me a Morgan," I was like, "You don't touch,
You don't
the,
touch
Morgan
the Morgan
letters."
letters. Oh man.
Anyhow,
So
they like
so the
fast
next
forward a
scene,
little bit now.
yeah, is them like the kids are a little older. They're probably like 12 or 13.
Mm-hmm.
And the parents are having like company over for dinner for kind of what seems like a celebratory dinner for like a victory at the law firm.
Oh, this is actually not even the victory at the law firm. This is him trying to get victory at the law firm because he's trying to impress the senior partner so that he gets like attention. He's just having them over and forcing his family to perform.
Yeah. Okay. The kids come downstairs to say goodnight and they're chubby, so you can tell that irritates Michael Douglas.
Mm-hmm.
And a unnecessary subplot weird thing, like I don't even know why this was in the movie, was Danny DeVito getting a foot job under the table.
Under the glass table.
Under the glass table. What is going on here?
No, like tablecloth
No
either.
tablecloth.
It's not unobvious. It is right in front of, I think, Kathleen Turner's character. And there's like an elderly like woman to his right having Salisbury steak.
Yes.
And can we talk about I don't want to talk about the foot job for too long. And this could have definitely been cut, but it definitely grabbed my attention. He's getting the foot job and he uses gravy
as like a massage lubricant
to massage
something
into the toes for
yeah,
I'm not trying to yuck anyone's yum. Yuck.
Yeah, I agree. Anyway, so kind of the under or subtext of this scene is Michael Douglas asks Kathleen Turner to tell a story about how they got their crystal glasses, and she like tells it wrong and takes too long, and so he keeps interrupting her and correcting her, and then just tells the end of the story to cut her off. And so you can kind of tell like this is the dynamic of he wants her to be a certain way, and when she doesn't meet that expectation, he kind of, shuts her down or chastises her in some way or embarrasses her or something.
Mm-hmm. And honestly, this is not to be dark, but this is like how my family dynamic was growing up.
Oh, man.
So I felt for her. And I've been in relationships like that where like your partner puts you on the spot to like perform your relationship in a certain way. Yeah. And then you sort of stumble through it because you're trying to keep the peace, and you can tell they're like grading you as it's happening, like you're doing it wrong. Nightmare. And I just can't say enough. I have not seen Kathleen Turner in a lot of movies, but the acting on her from someone who has lived it. I mean, I'm a man, but I was like, wow, I felt it in my bones, that dinner scene.
Yeah, I always talk about
so satisfying afterwards.
Oh, yeah, when she in bed calls him a fuckface.
Yes! I was like,
that was the best.
That makes fun of his laugh, his fake laugh.
I will say, okay, like, I think there are some actresses who stand out to me as being really good at portraying. Like, I think there's so many actors and actresses who are great at the big emotions, the big displays. Mm-hmm. And then there's the ones who do like the really subtle moments so well. And I know people are going to laugh at this comparison, but Lauren Graham from Gilmore Girls in Gilmore Girls sometimes portrays these like perfect micro expressions. And I forget her name, but she was one of the stars of season 2 of White Lotus. She, not Aubrey Plaza, but like the girl of the group that they were traveling with.
Oh, yes. I don't know the actress's name either,
scene,
but she was excellent.
Yeah, and Kathleen Turner in this movie too. Like you see the like subtle heartbreak, feeling small feeling on her face perfectly.
Be like it's not. Yeah, I cannot describe it. It's like, do you know when you're talking to someone in your life, face to face, and you say something and you can just see something shift on their face. You can't quite describe it, but you know instantly something has changed.
Yeah.
It's like that, but like on a screen to like, I don't know how people portray that, because I could barely describe it. It's like this moment on her face when she's stumbling through the story, and Michael Douglas did a great job of being a total monster, like a quiet monster in these moments. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, he does.
That tension building at the table and the fake laugh and it was quite a scene. I really felt like this is impactful in a way that I knew what was coming a little bit later on in the movie because I saw the trailer and I knew it was going to be like madcap in a way.
Yeah.
But these moments I did not expect at all, and I was like, ooh, okay, I could see where we're going now. So yeah, I loved the moment in the bed when she calls him a fuck face and and like chews him out in private at least, because it's like,
yeah,
I could totally see how she's.
And I like how also, like, she calls him a fuckface, she makes fun of his phony laugh, and they kind of like tease each other a little bit, but like sort of reconcile. Like, you can kind of see you can see the real hurt that's being kind of like glossed over as incidental, if that makes sense. Being
like bickering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The reconciling of your life after the fight. Like, but it's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So then we kind of cut to like her wanting to buy a new house for the family, and she's had her eye on this one specific house that she like leaves notes on every so often to say like, if you think of selling, please call me. And she is about to leave the note on the door. The kids are like, you've been doing this for years. Like, I want to go to skating practice. And
their outfits are beyond.
Yes.
Beyond 80s. They are trapper keepers in the flesh.
Correct. And she's about to put the note on the door when somebody's like, oh, how kind, please come in. And it turns out it's a wake for this was a little bit like, nobody talks like this, but like the woman invites her in and she's like, oh, I don't think I know you. And she's like, I'm Barbara. And she's like, oh yeah, my mother passed away. And she's like, oh, I don't know if I can bear to put the house up for sale. If I could just find someone to love it as much as my mom did, like within 2 seconds of meeting her.
I don't even care about money.
Yeah. Anyway, cut to them owning the house and moving in.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and he is pissed about it, of course, because she made the decision.
Yes, without him.
Without his permission.
Yep.
But they're like, all right, here we go. And where did I see? Why do I have something about the gymnast written here? Oh, okay, we're not there yet. Sorry.
That's okay. The one thing I will say about this scene is you see Kathleen Turner kind of be like a little bit like, is this who I am? Is this who we are when she buys this house? Because she's like, I think at this point, really starting to sense the like loss of identity.
Mm-hmm.
But then he like, it's moving day. Like all of their boxes are in the house. And he's like, all right, see you later.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, what? I need your help. And he's like, oh, I have to go to work. Like somebody has to pay for this house. And he goes, don't worry, you've got the fun part. Mm-hmm. Has anybody in their lives ever thought packing or unpacking a house is fun?
No.
It's brutal.
No one. When we packed to move to New Jersey from California, it started out like a little packing here, a little packing there over the weeks. And then it became, okay, let's pack. It's the last few days. And then the last few hours became throw shit in boxes.
Yep.
Throw
always
this shit in boxes and get everything else out to the curb because we are out of time and out of energy and so done with this. I remember after last time packing, and you know this from our experience, we were both like, next time we movers, I don't care. We'll just pack on however extra much money we need to. Like movers that we are sure of and monitoring, not like last time.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that is not fun. That is not the fun part.
No. And then Danny DeVito sort of like narrates, how her life for the next couple of years of like, she, redoes everything herself and like finishes the floors and like picks all the furniture and picks all the artwork and da-da-da-da-da. And so she's like really made the house her own, but then is sort of the like, she comes to the day where it's like, oh, it's done. Like, what is there left to do?
Mm-hmm.
Like that project of building this house, this home is done.
Right. Which is like also just indicative of like, what is my life? If
exactly.
My whole life has been this, which to what end? What is my life then?
Yeah.
What am I filling my life with? When this was fulfilling and I like it and I love it and I'm proud of it, and now what? And
Yeah.
what have I been spending my time avoiding?
Exactly. So she decides to start a business selling pate.
Ugh.
Gross.
No offense. I mean, I've
No,
tried a few that are okay, but it's just not. I don't think it's my thing.
no. And strangely, she has traded her Volvo in for like a like big Jeep with like air horns and like like big lights on it, and it's like a 4x4. I think it's a GMC Jimmy. I
Mhm.
read is the make and model. But it's clear he's like, what? Like, you spent $25,000 on a car, A, again, without telling me, and B, like, why do you need this? And it is a weird choice, but I think it's just kind of perfect. It feels like her original self at the beginning was so, like, physical and like, wild and uncontrolled, and this feels very that. So
Yes.
it makes sense in that regard, I think.
It feels impulsive, like how she was
Yeah.
at the very beginning, like running in
Yeah.
and buying this artifact and running
Yeah.
back out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Off to the ferry. Yeah, it felt like something she wanted to do to prove to herself that she can do this because it's her money.
Yeah.
And why not? Why not me? And same thing with the business when she's like, yeah, our friends really liked the liver. And she's like, the way she's describing all of these things to him too, I thought was well done. Again, just it describes everything you're saying so far. Like how her state of mind is, this like starting to feel a sense of self again, a sense of
Yeah.
embodiment again. And she's sort of like not breathlessly, but like timidly telling him, testing the waters. It's like that thing you do when you're like, how's this person going to react? But I'm going to say it, but I'm scared. She's like, yeah, I might start this business. And he's like, you sold liver to our friends?
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, I think I might start a business. And he's like, do it. He's pissed because he knows what's happening.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think
Yeah.
he does a good job acting that part out without saying it too, because you could tell that the tension is like he could sense something is happening. She's starting to come alive again, and
Yeah.
it's not what he wants.
No. Yeah, because in the next scene, he's like trying to set up an interview with a housekeeper, and she's like, I don't want that. I can take care of my house myself. But he says, sometimes you need a push. Sometimes we all need a push. And then he throws a cat across the kitchen.
Yes. Random.
I could not believe it. That poor cat.
Just tossed it.
Straight up, like, scooped it and hurled it into the air. So this interview with the housekeeper is so interesting because Kathleen Turner does agree to interview the housekeeper, and she's like, I have 2 kids about to go to college. I don't need a live-in. And then she kind of just does this strange monologue about how she has managed everything and chosen everything, and then just goes, let me show you where your room is. So it seems like the whole time she's like, I don't need you. I've done all this myself. And then just says, okay, you're hired. And I
Yeah.
wonder, like, is that meant to show like she's just going along with Michael Douglas's wishes again?
I read it a little different, or I watched it a little
Okay.
different. I felt like she does that whole monologue of like, I take care of everything perfectly, and I would. She does all that part, but then she keeps saying during that, like, and if I were to have a live-in, like, this would be this way, and that would be this way, and there would be, different expectations, and I would want to do things my own way, and I would be, it would be a problem. And then at the last thing I think I remember her saying before she says, like, you're hired, basically, is she's like, and so you see, if I had a live-in, it would really change the dynamic. It would really change the dynamic in this house. And she's like, so you see why I don't need a live-in. And she's like, sure. And then there's this moment on her face where she's like, so I'll show you where to stay. And in my mind, it's like when she realizes, like, oh, having another human being in this house is going to change the dynamic because I need a change in this dynamic.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, I felt like she
That
was
makes
like
sense.
in a sort of semi-subconscious way being like, oh, this is something I need. This is the ticket.
Got it. Okay.
Probably also like
That makes
another
sense.
human being in the house witnessing life.
Yeah. Okay. We get some scenes that show that she hates his dog, he hates her cat, evidenced by she keeps teasing the dog with treats she doesn't give him and giving them to her cat instead, and him throwing the cat across the kitchen.
Right.
So Okay, I think this is when we sort of get she has a contract for like a big event that she's throwing,
Mm-hmm.
and she's asked him to look it over, and he's like, I'll look at it tomorrow, or I'll look at it this weekend. And she's like, well, I have to sign it tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, okay, I'll read it now. And she's like, no, don't bother. It's very passive aggressive, this whole scene. Like, oh, don't bother. And he's like, no, get it now. And then like there's a fly, and he smashes the fly with her contract.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like evident that he doesn't give a shit about her business or her wishes, and very dismissive and all of that.
Yes, and he keeps
So
calling her little contract.
Little contract, yes. And so she starts, literally, he's got like an important business call, and she turns on every appliance in the kitchen, like max speed, to like make as much noise as possible, and then just goes to bed with them all running. So funny.
Yeah, I was like, oh my god. First of all, I'd be so scared that the kitchen would burn down or something. I don't know why.
Me too. I would never do that.
But I was like, damn, girl, do it.
And then, okay, then this is where we get the gymnast thing, because
Oh, yes. Yes.
he like comes up to bed and is like in a celebratory mood, like, I got the contract, I got the client, whatever. And he like tries to kind of like make moves on her,
Yeah.
and she crushes him with her superpowered gymnast thighs.
Yes, I loved this. And he's like, oh. And she's like, it's very evident how crazy about yourself you are. And
Yes.
when he goes, he's like, no, get your contract. I'll look at your little contract now. Like they run for it, and she like smacks him in the face with it.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
This is like a turning point for sure, obviously, with them.
Oh yeah, a big one.
She's had it.
Yes.
She's begun to realize, like, oh no,
I don't
what
want
have
this
I been
anymore.
suppressing for so long? I'm so much more powerful than this, literally.
Yeah. So then he's at this business lunch the next day in like Philadelphia or something, I think, and it seems like starts to have symptoms of a heart attack.
Mm-hmm.
And gets taken to the hospital. And he keeps asking if his wife is there, and he's like, is my wife here yet? And they're like, no. Is my wife here yet? No. And she's at her contract meeting about her party when she gets a call that her husband's in the hospital and she has to go. And she like runs off, and we cut back to him and find out that it was just an esophageal tear. It wasn't a heart attack. He's going to be fine. You know, it can be caused by stress or spicy foods, etc.
And coffee,
And
which we just saw him eating a lot of spicy foods and drinking coffee.
Yes. And he asks if it could be caused by being squeezed between someone's legs, and they're like, no. But Kathleen Turner still isn't there. Danny DeVito shows up, and he's like, she'll be here any minute, and they're just waiting for her. But it seems like she never shows, and they take the train back to wherever they're living. I'm not sure if it's New York or New Jersey or where.
Yeah, and he is the whole way home feeling sorry for himself and stewing about that his wife did not come to pick him up, and that he's got to go home with Danny DeVito by himself.
Yes.
Why didn't she come?
Well, we do find that out later. Yeah. So he comes home, she's not there, he's like getting ready for bed, and finally she shows up, and he's like, you didn't come to the hospital. And she's like, well, I called the hospital, and they said everything was under control, and so I didn't want to disturb you. And he's like, well, I thought I was dying. And she was like, well, I spoke to a nurse, and she said you were fine. And this is where he says, I wrote you a note in case you didn't get there before I died. And she's like, I can't read your writing. And so he reads it. He reads it out loud for her. And it's, you know, very sweet, I think. He says, like, my love, you've like made my life full. And then he has a specific phrase, all I have and am, I owe to you. Mm-hmm. And that comes back into play later. Mm-hmm. They go to bed kind of, you know, at odds, I think.
Yeah, because she looks at the note that he's thinking is going to be really impactful when she hears it. And she's going to be like, oh my God. And she's like, she looks at it and she goes, oh, you didn't even sign it.
Yeah.
That's it. Which, honestly, good, because here's the thing. He only wants her because now he has a need. He's in pain.
Yes.
He wants mommy.
Yeah.
And he thinks she should be, like, at his beck and call. But she has a life, and she's not been cared for the entire time. She's been
Yeah.
asking for him to care for her or to notice her the whole relationship. And now it's too late. She's actually, and she is still sympathetic. She still comes home and is like so relieved he's fine. But she's like, why the hell am I gonna do, you know what I mean? She's
Yeah.
become embodied again. And she's making decisions for herself on purpose now. And he does not like it at all. And clearly she's resentful of him and is ready to sort of find some sort of independence. But still, he is so dramatic. So dramatic
Yes.
with this note.
Very. And then he's snoring that night, and she sticks her fingers up his nose to make him stop, which made me scream. I thought that was very funny.
Same.
And she says, I'm very upset. And he's like, what are you talking about? And basically, this is where she says, like, the reason I didn't show up at the hospital was because I had such a strong feeling that you were dead, and I knew what it would be like to not have you in my life. And I got scared that I had to pull over. And he's like, that's understandable. And she's like, no, I was scared because I felt happy.
Mm-hmm.
And you see him like take several beats and go, you were happy because I was dead. And she said, I was happy because I knew what it was to be free, like a weight had been lifted.
Mm-hmm.
And she says she wants a divorce.
Yes.
So Kathleen, yeah.
And he says, no, you can't have a divorce.
have one. Yeah.
You cannot have a divorce. She says to him, I was happy to be free, and I want a divorce. And he says, you cannot have one.
Yeah.
Wild. Also, what they are wearing to bed, I will never understand any movie or TV show that has these people in this fussy shit.
I didn't even pay attention.
Who sleeps in nightgowns with frills suffocating your wrist? And
Oh my God.
who sleeps in a full pajama set? I
Yeah.
cannot imagine when this ever was a thing.
Yeah. Same.
Anyhow.
I like when he asks, like, give me a reason why you want a divorce. And she says, when I watch you eat, when I watch you asleep, when I look at you, I want to bash your face in.
Yes. Yes. I mean, there you go. There is your answer.
Yeah. So she tells him to get a good lawyer, or he tells her to get a good lawyer. And we cut to them in her attorney's office, and she is waiving alimony. He only has to pay child support for another year till the kids are 18. And she will, he can have all of his money. She can support herself with her own business. She just wants the house and its contents.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, absolutely not, that I bought that house. That's my house. And that's when the letter comes back in where he reads the lawyer says, you have this note that you wrote her about how everything you have and am you owe to her. And this is when we get the iconic, you've sunk below the deepest layer of prehistoric frog shit at the bottom of a New Jersey scum swamp.
Yes.
Amazing.
This situation reminded me so much of Tom Sandoval and Ariana.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And I'm sure someone had probably referenced this during that season with them because it's so similar. And it's not only similar because it's like a house dispute and the dissolution of a, relationship and who's responsible for, actually everything. And and in both situations, it's the female who really did everything to the house that made it what it was.
Yeah.
But also, like, and we'll talk about this, but we've talked about it already. Throughout the whole dissolution of the relationship, all she wants is her freedom from him.
Yes.
That's all she wants is her freedom from him. She's not trying to stick it to him at this point in some way. She's just done. She's just seen the other side of the cage and she wants her freedom and she's ready for it. That's all she wants. Like Ariana said, I just want you gone. There were so many moments in this where I just felt like that's what Kathleen Turner's character was saying. I just want you gone.
Yes.
Anyway, I just couldn't not bring it back to Bravo.
Yeah. So Danny DeVito advises him to move back into the house because then, it's demonstrating that he wants to retain it. So now they're going through this acrimonious divorce while living together. Mm-hmm. And even the kids don't want to be there.
No.
We see her reclaiming her time by putting the tree topper on top of the tree that she wanted all those years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And then there is a scene where the Christmas tree catches on fire. Michael Douglas manages to put it out, but he says, "It's over. Thank God I was here."
Yeah, exactly. When the whole reason it went on fire was because he was not willing to fix the flickering lights correctly.
Yes, exactly.
And he says it could have been something else than the lights when it happens too. And then you see the tin star like melting off the tree as it burns too.
Yeah.
Ay. By the way, every time they're in a law office from this point on, there are 7,000 encyclopedia style books.
Oh my God, yes.
It is Suzanne's. What Sally Struthers asking you if you want to make more money? We all do. Of course, we all do. Ay.
So they start having some, more and more spats. I like the moment where, he says something about like, he's shouting like, "You weren't even multi-orgasmic before you met me." And she says, "You really expect me to reassure you sexually even now when we disgust each other?" And then like drives away and like the kids are right there having heard all of it.
Right? I was dying.
Oh my God. Yes.
Multi-orgasmic.
I feel like so many people must have experienced exactly this with their parents.
God, I know.
This
is when they establish the zones of the house, right?
Yes, yeah.
They each have their own areas and they have some communal spaces, and he's like, "This is great." And I think it's Danny DeVito was like, "Is this a way to live?"
Yeah, like, literally, he's like, "Maybe you should just give her the house. Like, is this worth your sanity?"
And he's like, "No, this is great." And he tries to like, I think there's like a high five moment.
Yes, yeah.
God. And then this is when we see like how it is in the house. Like the live-in nanny, I think her name is Susan. She's still there, and she's sort of become the Anne.
Yes.
Going between, he asked for some sleeping. She comes and asks for some sleeping pills for herself. And Kathleen Turner's like, "Are these for him?" And she's like, "No." "Okay, you got me."
Yeah.
Yeah, they're for him. She immediately folds.
Yeah.
But she's like, no, she can't have any. And she shuts the door on her.
Yes, which causes him to go out at night to get some and accidentally lets the dog and the cat out of the house.
Mm-hmm.
And we have like a dog cat chase scene, but then it ends with Michael Douglas running over Kathleen Turner's cat by mistake. But
I know. My heart. But he's not very sympathetic afterwards, even though it was a mistake. He's like, "All right,
no, he doesn't
get a plastic
He doesn't
bag."
even tell her. He doesn't tell her for days. No. She has to confront him and be like, "I know you got rid of my cat. What did you do?"
Yeah, exactly.
So awful.
Because he doesn't care. He is like a child hiding his mistake from his mommy.
Yeah. And this is where it really starts to escalate because he's in their in-home sauna and he tells her like, he literally says, "You killed your cat because you wouldn't give me a sleeping pill."
Mm-hmm.
And so she takes some like, what are they called?
Not dowels, but like the flat version of like a dowel maybe.
Yeah, and like hammers the sauna door closed and traps him in there for a while. So he like kind of like starts to pass out. And then finally she lets him out and she says, "What do you expect? Like, you're making me nuts. I just want you to leave."
Yes.
So he responds the next day by sawing the heels off of all of her shoes.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Like you do.
Like you do. So she goes to Danny DeVito asking for advice. And is this when she is like flirting with him?
Yes, yeah, she tries to like, she looks $1,000,000 in this scene, trying to be like, "Please just tell him he needs to leave." And she even does like a little gymnast flip and is like, "Let me know if you change your mind."
Yes. Is this when he has the cigarette? Oh yeah, that's right, because he's like, she goes to him like, what would it take to like get you to help me?
Yes.
And I think she says something about like, I forget what she says, but this is like something that's supposed to be alluded to the whole movie, like what made Danny DeVito start smoking again. And it's because like he's so
stressed by their breakup.
Yeah, he's so stressed by their breakup, and then so basically has like blue balls after she leaves the room.
Yeah.
So he's gotta have a cigarette. And I did like later on when he finds out that she was like an amazing gymnast.
Yes. So then Michael Douglas finds out she's having like a big black tie dinner for like all of her fanciest clients to kind of like, woo them and get them to continue to hire her.
Mm-hmm.
And she lied to him about he needed to be out of the house because she had an exterminator coming. And he also says that she took 2 of his statues and she sold them to finance her dinner. I want criminal charges pressed against her. And Danny DeVito is like, you are losing it. You need to give it up. So Michael Douglas, of course, fires him as his lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
And instead shows up to her dinner in a top hat and a t-shirt and sneezes all over the food, drops his tissue in the punch bowl, and then goes into the kitchen and pisses on the fish.
Fresh out of the oven, steaming, pissing on the
urine.
fish.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God. And then people see it. The people at the dinner like come in and are watching him just pissing on the fish that they're supposed to be eating. And she's like, oh, hell no. So she goes outside and gets into her car, her huge monster truck, and smashes into his, what's it called? The Morgan?
Vintage Morgan.
Yes.
Yeah. Literally like smashes it out into the road. He like almost runs him over. He like tries to get in the car and she like runs into the car and starts pushing it up the yard with him inside of it and pushes it into another wall.
Mm-hmm. She uses a speaker to be like, get out of the car. But he's like, I'm not going to get out of the car. And he's like, you're bluffing. You won't do anything. But every time he says she's bluffing, she just does it. And not with like this like, oh, I'm going to get you face. She's so good. She just is sure of herself.
Yes.
And when he is like up against that like fountain thing in the front of the yard, because of course now they're up on the yard, it's been insane. He can't get the car to go anywhere, so the only way it's moving is her. She literally rams him from like the street into like a big stone fountain type thing on their porch.
Yes.
And when she can't crush it anymore, he's like, "Go ahead, I dare you. You won't do it." And she like monster truck rides over him.
Yes.
Crushes the car. Absolutely would have killed him if he didn't just duck under a little bit.
Completely would have killed him.
And everyone inside is watching. Her guests at her party are all standing on the lawn watching her try to kill her husband.
And then there's I forget exactly what causes this, but one of them says the line, I don't want to create a scene.
Yes!
And I'm like, I think we're like 20 or 30 minutes past that, but okay.
Yes. I think he gets out of the car afterwards and says, I don't want to create a scene. And then she says it. And then she leaves the party. Her own party.
Amazing. Oh my God, obsessed.
Yeah.
And then she comes home later and he has a bonfire going in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, I expected a little more imagination from you. I guess I'll go clean up. And then she goes into his office and starts smashing all of his statues.
Mm-hmm. Loved it. And he's like freaking out, going from room to room arguing. She's smashing the statues, throwing them close to him. And then they get to like the other room and she has a plate that she's ready to smash. But then she sees him and she's like...
Frisbees it.
That's the word.
Right at his head.
If he didn't duck, it would have been right to his face.
Yes.
I love this.
He, by the way, this whole time is trying to hit her with a crowbar. So things have really escalated.
Yes, he's carrying around like a tire iron.
Yes, yeah.
And there's a part where, like, I think they're at the top of the stairs and he's chasing her. He chases her upstairs and he's chasing her through the house as she's, like, breaking things. And she does or I don't know if he pushes her or whatever, but
yeah, he, like, pushes her, but she successfully cartwheels down the stairs.
Obsessed with that scene of her cartwheeling down the stairs.
Incredible. And then they just go, good night.
Good night.
Oh. And then this is when he realizes, like, he's in bed and he, like, opens his eyes and he's like, where's the dog? And he starts, like, calling for his dog. He's, like, in bed surrounded by all his statues, presumably because he, like, wants to protect them from her. Yes. She's in bed all bruised from having been pushed down the stairs. And then we cut to Danny DeVito literally telling the story. And he goes, so far a pretty normal divorce scenario.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next scene is her leaving him a note saying, we have to talk, dinner tonight at 9 p.m. And I'm like, who is eating dinner at 9 p.m. again? And
they meet in this like very like one light-lit sort of like countertop in the kitchen. It's sort of very let's have peace kind of moment, it seems like. She brings pate, he brings wine. It's sort of like a how's this going to go moment, and they both seem to be ready to just, let's talk, just
Yeah.
see what's going to happen.
Yes.
We need to
I will say
iron this out.
the lighting in this scene was so good. Like there was so much like close-ups of like it reminded me a lot of Clue.
Yeah.
In its lighting.
There were a lot of cool
very-
shots in this.
Yeah. And she's like, we can be happy, just not together. Like, I'm going to ask you to leave one more time.
Yeah, because he thinks this
And-
is reconciliation time. He's like, finally, we can reconcile. Let's patch this up. I'll do whatever I can, whatever. And she's like, hello? Like, no.
Yeah, no, like, this is a come to Jesus, like, things have got out of hand, but it needs to end now.
Yeah, and she's like, all I want is, I just want you out. That's it. And
Yeah.
it's just going in circles. And he says something like, I'll never give you what you want, basically. And she says, you have no idea how far I'll go.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, what do you mean? And she says something like, they like cut to the pate or something. And she says something like, what do you think the pate is made of or something like that?
Yeah, it depends on what the pate's made of. And then she leans forward and goes, woof.
Woof. And I was like,
no. That, it's so funny. I didn't remember much about the movie, but that has always stood out to me.
Yes. As soon as it happened, I was like, no, there's no way. She is bluffing. She is bluffing.
And thankfully she is bluffing. Like, we see the dog a moment later, but...
Yes, they show, like, a random scene of him in the yard, like, hearing things happen from outside. And I read in trivia that was supposed to be at the end of the movie, but during testing, some audiences were too panicked about the dog.
Yes.
So they just shoved it in earlier.
Yes.
Which I agree.
I agree. I would have been too stressed out if I hadn't seen that dog within like 30 seconds.
Yes.
But oh my God, this is when they just straight up start trying to like murder each other. He like takes furniture and like hammers shut all of the doors and windows so that she can't get out.
Yep.
She's in the attic.
home.
Like,
I'm not going to give you the house. I'm going to, because he's claiming it means so much to him, but now he's destroying it to keep her inside of it.
Correct. Yes. And she is like unscrewing the chandelier in the attic to try to drop it in on him.
Mm-hmm.
And you hear him say, like, he doesn't know where she is in the house, but you hear, it's so creepy. He's like, I'm going to find you, sweetness.
Mm-hmm.
Like his sense of ownership over her is so creepy in this movie.
Yes. And now you see to me, this is the same motivating behavior and all of the stuff that he's had through the whole movie. It's just now we're seeing it in a really intense, like physically violent way and menacing way, but he's always been this way. He's always wanted her as his object and wanted her to be a particular way and resented her anytime she stepped quote unquote out of line, out of that box, you know?
Yeah.
So this it becomes very, if you just started watching it from here, you would think you were watching a like home invasion movie and that this was not her husband.
Exactly. Yeah. So he hears her up in the attic and goes up there, but she's laid a bunch of mouse traps. So he like gets a bunch of mouse traps snapped on him. They like struggle and he like, there's like, I interpreted it as sort of like a sexual assault control moment where he's like, you're helpless and I can do anything I want, and starts like kissing her everywhere. She bites him on the dick, which I was like, go girl.
Yes.
Great job.
Yes.
And shoves him out the attic.
Yes, right. Shoves him right after biting him. And just like slides him all the way, the whole distance of the attic, out of the bottom of the floor, just landing on his back.
And then says, was it as good for you as it was for me?
Iconic.
Amazing.
Iconic. Amazing. The way the housekeeper's outside now, trying to get in the house.
Yes.
Knocking.
Yes.
What's going on in here? Why?
Yeah. She sees the fire in the kitchen and all the smashed pottery, and she manages to get into the house, and then I think a plate gets thrown at her head, and
no,
it's
not the plate. Wait. She walks into the room, and Michael Douglas throws a like chair at her.
Oh my God.
Like a whole like sitting chair, not like a chair in the kitchen, like a love seat type of chair.
And then in a very reasonable tone of voice goes, I'm sorry, I thought you were Barbara. As though that excuses it. And then goes, I'm in the middle of something and I really can't talk about it.
And she's like, I would really like to see Barbara. And he's like, hold on. And he screams, Barbara, Susan's here. Tell her you're all right. And you hear Barbara like from some unknown area of the house. Hi, Susan, I'm fine.
And she goes, never better.
Yeah, never.
Oh, God.
And she's just like,
So he gets her outside, and she can see both of their crazy faces through the window.
That moment when she goes outside, these are some of the cool shots. Like, the two shots that happen right now I thought were just so cool. Like, when she goes outside, and he's like, let's go outside together. And she steps outside, and then he slams the door and nails it shut. And then she looks up and sees them both in two totally different windows of the house looking insane.
Yes.
And
It's
then when they go
perfection.
in and they have that shot of the chandelier from up high, but you see it like they kind of, I don't know what kind of shot it is, but they kind of pan out on just the chandelier, but you see it beyond his face.
Yeah.
It was like a really cool shot. I don't know how to describe it, but I was like, ooh, this is so it was so intense. I was like on the edge of my seat.
Yeah. And then he lures her out with the first little statue that she won from him at auction, but snatches it away from her just as she's about to grab it and says, "Nya, nya, 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 nya." And he says, "You know what? We'll make a deal. You say it's mine and you can have everything in this house." And she says, "Okay, it's mine." And so he smashes it with the tire iron like a baseball, and I think she like fakes a shard like hitting her in the face.
Yes.
And so she then hits him with the crowbar, and she kind of loses her balance and falls through the landing and grabs onto the chandelier, which starts to slip because she unscrewed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now she's
he
hanging from the
says-
chandelier upside down, very gymnast
Yes.
style, like she's
Very
on a
gymnast.
trapeze, holding it with
Yes.
like the backs of her knees.
Yes.
And she's like, it's kind of shifting, but she's like, it's holding her up, and she's swinging back and forth a little bit, and he's like, oh, I've got you now, sort of. And he is thinking, I don't know. Well, it's kind of, he's trying to like loosen the chandelier to fall with her on it, right? So he's like trying to smack the chandelier with the tire iron says he's going to do.
I think he's trying to get it to swing back far enough toward the landing to where he can grab it.
Oh, okay.
But then
yeah, that sounds right. And she's like, no.
Yeah, he weighs less than the chandelier, so instead it pulls him off the landing. So now they're both on the chandelier that's about to fall.
Mm-hmm. And they're both like swinging from. They're both Sia, swinging from the chandelier, and he is out of his mind. He is like, he says to her, "It's time to be honest up here, because this is we might not make it through this, but He's like, I've always loved you.
Yeah.
And she says, I know. And she
right.
says,
and then
you've always loved me too, didn't you? She says nothing.
She says nothing. But then the phone rings and she says, get that, would you, Oliver? Oh, God.
Dead.
Amazing.
And I'm really glad she didn't say anything. I'm really glad
I am
she
too.
didn't say anything
Yeah.
in this moment. Because he's still, like, and he's not being honest either. He doesn't even know
Yeah.
what loving her is.
No.
He's
yeah.
just
he
always
loves the
wanted her.
idea of her.
Yeah.
Danny DeVito and the maid are trying to, like, get a ladder into the house in time to save them.
Mm-hmm. So
But-
they feel like, oh my God, we might actually make it. Like, they're on their way with a ladder.
Yes, but unfortunately, the wires snap and they plummet to the ground. And my favorite part of this death scene was, they're both still, they're like dying.
Clinging to life.
And he like reaches over to like touch her as like a I love you, like we're dying, but I love you thing.
Like, we're together.
And you see
yeah,
her-
like putting his hand on her.
Yeah, and you see her like bring her hand up to him and kind of squeeze it. And you almost think it's going to be this moment of like, I love you too. But instead she grabs his hand and throws it off of her.
Yes. Yes, it was
Ugh.
like, and then spoiler alert, they die.
Yeah.
But I was like, when they die, I was sad they died because I wanted her to live.
Yeah.
But I was like, you know what? I'm so glad that was her final action. She's like, you will not control this narrative in our death.
Exactly.
Like, you will
Yeah,
not
yeah.
get to be with me. I'm not yours. You will not
Yes.
have your hand on me. And this is not the way it's going to happen. And this will be my last bit of energy to get you out of my life.
Yes, exactly.
And I loved it. Loved that. And
then
then we
Danny
cut back to Danny DeVito telling
Yeah.
this guy who's, seeking him as a divorce lawyer. And he's like, you could either be kind and move on. You can go home and try to find, some love in what you have.
Yeah.
And then,
And that's kind of the end.
yeah, then we cut to the guy leaving his office and Danny DeVito outside on like the patio on the phone with his wife
Yeah.
on his way home. And that's the end of the movie.
Would you like a couple of pieces of trivia about this movie?
I would. I only have one thing I read, which was that Danny DeVito was urged to put in like a happy ending, sort of, or like a change ending.
Yeah, and he was like, no.
Absolutely, yeah. And I'm so glad he didn't, because that,
Me
even though
too.
of course it's sad, but it's like,
Yeah.
it really is the story.
Yes.
But yes,
So-
let's hear the trivia.
When they're on the chandelier, they were actually like suspended 30 feet in the air.
Ooh.
And Danny DeVito pranked them and like called for lunch break while they were both stuck on the chandelier, thinking that they were just going to get left up there. So the filmmakers insisted that Danny DeVito insert a shot of the dog right after the pate scene,
Yeah.
because it wasn't supposed to be shown until after the end of the chandelier scene.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, they were like, audiences will be too freaked out. In August of 2009, a man named Robert Schenkman held his ex-wife Nancy Tyler hostage for 13 hours in their home after becoming obsessed with this movie.
Oh, God.
She was able to escape, but he burned her house down,
Nightmare.
and he was given a 70-year sentence for this.
Good.
Yeah. The last piece of trivia. Oh no, two more pieces. Another person who was originally considered for Kathleen Turner's role was Cher, which actually I think could have really worked.
I did read that, and it would have been a different movie, but totally, yeah.
Yeah. And then the man that Danny DeVito is telling this story to, the man that never speaks in his office, is the voice of Homer Simpson from The Simpsons.
Oh my God.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah. Okay.
Fun facts.
That is fun. That is fun facts. What did?
All right, what are the ratings?
What do we got for ratings here? We got IMDb 6.8.
Okay.
Tomato meter on Rotten Tomatoes is 83%, and the audience tomato meter or popcorn meter, whatever, is 71%.
Okay. I think I'm gonna give this movie an 8. I really like it, and I think I do. You know, I had my complaints about it being a little slow at the beginning, but I think it felt appropriate. I think they probably can just tighten it up a little bit more for a modern audience.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's a great movie, and I'm obsessed with Kathleen Turner in it. So there you go.
Yeah, I'm with you. I give it an 8.5. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was funny, witty, clever, incredibly well acted. All of the things I've already said about all that nuance and all of the... I just thought it was so good. I just thought it was so...
Yeah.
All of the tension and the story of their relationship. For a movie made in 1989... directed by a man, there are things in the movie that could, you know, that are clear challenges, and Kathleen Turner does use the F word to describe him at one point, which I didn't love.
Oh, I missed that entirely somehow.
Oh yeah, when they're passing each other on the stairs, and she's like jerk, and he's like bitch or whatever, back and forth.
Yeah.
The last thing she says to him is the F word, and I was like, okay, you can. It's a sign of the times. I know it's 1989. But that wasn't great. So a few things I think didn't fit into
Didn't hold up.
the feminist narrative that I've read this through. But I think for 1989, it was really well done to show. I don't know what the intention was of this movie was, but in my mind, I felt as though the story it told was very nuanced and important. And I think even if people weren't watching it through the lens I was watching it through, I think it is impossible not to put questions in people's minds that are important about the way they view relationships, gender roles in relationships.
Yeah.
Divorce, like you said, at this time was much more a hot button issue, very taboo, especially for women, especially for a woman to ask for a divorce. Especially how women were looked at in a divorce and what they quote unquote were looking for and wanted and all of that and entitled to. And I just think it was really surprisingly just feminist in its point of view. I mean, I just can't believe it was so popular too. You know what I mean? I don't know how to how to say it in a more intelligent fashion, but I found it being really surprising, not only being a great movie, but just a message hidden in it.
Yeah.
You know, and it almost felt like all the crazy, wild, violent type stuff was almost like a metaphor for like the breaking point. Do you know what I mean?
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I loved it.
So I'm assuming it's a beauty for both of us.
Oh, for sure. I'm really glad you recommended this one. Total Beauty.
Yay!
I'm very excited.
I hope the new one is good. I'm gonna go see it in the theater tomorrow.
Ooh, tomorrow. Very nice. We're going to try to see it in the theater too. And it's playing in our local theater. So we are very excited. I don't know if you've watched the trailer yet. Have you?
I have not. No.
And you usually don't. You usually go in blind, right?
I do,
I shouldn't
yeah.
say blind. I know that's not like the... You usually go in not seeing
Unaware,
anything
yeah.
about the film beforehand, right?
Yeah.
I watched the trailer with Davey, and I didn't know who the cast was. Like, I know you mentioned it, but I had kind of forgotten. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
this is interesting. And then I'm interested to see how it goes because I didn't watch the trailer until after I saw this movie.
Okay.
And so I was like, oh, I wonder how similar it is because it's called The Roses, right?
Correct. Yeah.
I'm very excited to see how this all goes.
Yeah. I love Olivia Colman, so I'm very interested.
I didn't know her by name when you said her, and then when I saw her, I was like, oh, I love her.
She's like one of my favorite actresses. I love her so much.
I feel like you've referenced her in our other podcasts multiple times.
Probably. All right, well, listeners, thank you for listening. And by the way, did you know that our podcast is free? And we have new episodes every week, so you should subscribe. And it costs nothing to write a review, and it really helps us out.
That's right. Something else that costs you nothing. Kindness. And a kind thing you could do is let someone else know about our show, tell a friend, tell a coworker, let someone else know how great we are, because the word of mouth is what gets us around.
That's right. Our social media is RebootyPod on Instagram, and you can email us at rebootypod@gmail.com. We love getting email from you, so send us a note and say hi.
We also have a Patreon if you just can't get enough. There's tons of back content. It's it's patreon.com. I'm giving you the wrong address. patreon.com/n&matt. And there's games. We do a lot of movie reviews on there that maybe don't have reboots. So if you have any suggestions, let us know.
Yeah, and thanks for listening to Rebooting the Beast.
See you next time.
Goodbye.
Bye.